So we were in language school at the time, but this was, 3 months before Osama bin Laden gets taken down. Things are picking up. A lot of attention's coming to the SEAL community. We're just going into the little secret squirrel stuff, low visibility operations training now. Then SEER, dude. SEER.
Oh, you had SEER after that. That's nice.
So SEER was nice because SEER actually, dude, locked naked in a box, dude, beating the shit out of us for like a week, dude. Just but you're about to graduate SEAL training, bro. So you're like, dude, it doesn't matter.
Were you being a smart ass the whole time?
No, I wasn't like that. I'm
weren't?
not like one of those guys, but they'd have guys that are like, man, put your dick away. You'd hear him down the
Stop jerking off in the box.
Stop jerking off in the box, you motherfuckers. And I was like, they're just making fun of. They're like, oh, you got a small dick. They're yelling at dudes down the thing. I'm like, bro, these dudes are brutal. But they're playing babies crying and stuff, and it's just it is what it is, bro. But I was so happy to be almost done, man. And then we finished, and dude, there we are, right? And then I go into language school 3 months, which was
what'd you have to do? What
Arabic.
Language?
Arabic. So I did Arabic for 3 months. And then
was that your choice, or did they choose that?
They
for you?
picked us kind of by our SEAL team. And we was kind of designated to us.
Oh, so you were already assigned what team you were going to?
So I got SEAL Team 7. So you could pick your West Coast or East Coast or SDV. I picked SEAL Team 7.
And this is now after the teams used to be based on the region in the world they fight in, right? That was no longer a thing.
It was kind of because there were still, some of the East Coast teams are going out in South America, so they're giving some guys Spanish, I think, and some shit like that. But for me, your geographic region was going to be the Middle East, so that Team 7. It's not super specific, but they're still dudes in PACOM and shit like that. So yeah, man. And then I'm at Team 7, and that was a feeling where when I walked up to my cage the first time in the locker room, and I was like, see my name, and it was like, I kind of get the chills when I think about it because it was so much time of people being like, dude, you're not gonna get a fucking. Dude, you're coming out of jail, and I'm thinking back at jail and like starting my PSD, just thinking about all the moments going through MEPS, how fucking scary that was for me with the strategic answering I was having to do and FBI interviews. Man, I was still getting
MEPS,
military entrance processing, with all the background stuff I had. It was always a scary thing. I had this dark cloud over me, man, because I still had secret clearances, top secret clearances were coming up. So I always had to keep reliving and answer strategically and be fucking, because I couldn't just be 100% honest. It would have been ridiculous. They're like, fucking probably 20 arrests or something. It was out of control. So I had to be smart about how I answered stuff. And there was a lot of FBI interviews I had to do, even in the SEAL teams when they were, coming on my top secret clearance, coming on, doing refreshers and this and that. It just goes to show you, man, be smart, man. Be strategic about what you're doing. All the shit matters, bro. It doesn't go away.
What did you learn? Because I'm amazed at how you just threw yourself into this. And sorry, someone's fucking dying out there. This thing is so. We have this so noise proof, but the one thing that gets through is the fire truck. But I'm so amazed at how quick the turnaround is. Like, obviously, you moved out to Boston to get your shit in order. You start going to school, doing right things. You move back to California, you go to college, you're doing a lot of the right things, but you're still fucking around and getting arrested and doing, some of it's kind of funny, but like stupid shit that's getting you in trouble. You end up going to jail. You walk out of jail. You have the grit, to use your word, to figure out like how the fuck I'm gonna get somewhere in the military. You pick the highest end rung of it. They help you get in there, obviously, like they took a liking to you, and now you jump right into it. I don't even know how long this whole period is, but whatever it is, 12, 18, 24 months, you do this insane training, and now you walk up to your locker, it says your name on it, you have your trident, you're on Team 7. Like, are you like, holy shit, like, wait a minute, I'm built from something here? Or was it like, no, I could do this. This is exactly what it is.
It was a mix of both. It was. I don't like the word humble, having a low opinion of stuff, but it was like a very like somber. It was like, oh man, dude, I fucking, wow, powerful. I'm really grateful.
Powerful.
It was grateful, powerful. I felt exactly where I was supposed to be. It was like I fucking was so happy, man. It was like incredible feeling, being like, and it was 3 months to the day, pretty much, where I was showing up at my locker from when I walked out of jail, almost to the day. 3 years.
Oh, 3 years.
Did I say 3 months?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, wait a minute.
3 years to the day. 3 years to the day of when
Yeah.
I walked out of jail to when I walked into my locker, right? That's how long it took of just rocking and rolling, man. There was
That's
no
some
time
biblical
wasted.
shit.
Yeah, so it was 3 years to the day, and that was powerful. And right when I got there, man, I volunteered. So they were like, who wants to go to comm school, which is not a sexy school, and they were going to give vacations to guys. I volunteered.
Comm school?
Communications,
Okay.
Naval Special Warfare Communications. I was like, I'll go. Right, man. I was just fucking happy to be there, bro. I didn't want to go on vacation. I was fucking right where I wanted to be. I wanted to be right fucking there, dude. And so I went to comm school. That set me up. That one decision set me up like a fucking wave, a divine wave. Because I did that, I came back and a bunch of Team 7 was just coming back from an 11-month deployment in Afghanistan.
Oh.
So the dudes were primed. It was a heavy energy. It was real, man. Dudes were opping. There was serious shit. Dudes are, going through stuff and dudes wanted to go on vacation. They wanted a little break. And JTAC school was coming up, Joint Terminal Attack Controller, which is coordination of bombs being dropped from jets, or close air support or just air support in general with special operators on the ground. You're talking to pilots and shit with radios. And they go, we need a guy who went to comm school to go to JTAC school. And it's up near where Top Gun is, Fallon, Nevada. They do all the training with those guys and whatever. And they said, do you want to? I said, I'll go. Right. And because there was some older guys there was a gap because you had to leave on January 1st. Right. And they had just got back. I left. So I go past that school, which was challenging. And I came back, man. And they said, hey, we want a comms JTAC guy to go to sniper school.
Sign me up, bitch.
I said, okay, but I got to shoot off. So that created some friction points.
You got a what?
You got to shoot off. You got to shoot. Test with older guys, right? And so everybody wants to go to sniper school, or most guys. And I was testing with guys who were like, this fucking new guys testing with this. So I'm like stepping in front of people.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, well, this is going down. I shot well enough, beat some guys, and I get a slot for sniper school, bro. So I went to sniper school, and that was an unbelievable experience, was being able to go that. So I was a comms JTAC sniper as a new guy, man.
You got you're loading up.
At like 7, 8, 9 months I had been at the team. I had already been done pretty well for myself. But before that, we went to Cabo to do the not close protection, but his maritime extraction force for Obama while they're down there for the G20 summit down in Cabo, Mexico. They were worried about the cartels during his moments of transition.
They did a G20 in Cabo?
They did a G20 in Cabo in 2012, man, which was like rock and roll with the cartel. And so so that's what they did. And Team 7 drew the short straw. We were in the maritime force, and I think it was Team 8 or somebody was doing the on-land stuff. Bro, I almost died there. That was the closest I've ever been to dying, was out during that fucking thing in the summer.
And this is before the three schools.
This was before I went to sniper school, right before. So I fucking, a storm came in, and we were on this, like, the LCUs, the stuff that would land on D-Day, one of those, things. Yeah. And, bro, the storm came in. We're jumping. I'm jumping onto one of the boats. I'm in full kit, dude. Heavy mags, body armor, helmet, night vision. It's 2:00 in the morning, 8-foot, 9-foot swells in between these boats, and I'm jumping, and I hit the side of the rib and go in the drink and treading water. My M4 is wired into my kit because I didn't want to be a new guy and lose my fucking weapon. So I was not getting rid of this thing. I had a one water wing, which I was just, this was a moment where I realized, man, it's up to you to keep yourself alive, bro. This is big boy rules. And I had been, I was got a little too lax with, oh, dude, I'll be all right. Just jump in, and bro, I was treading water. I almost sank, dude, because I was so heavy and was just putting out, man, trying to stay up.
What are you? I'm just wondering though. What are you? You're going down there to protect Obama at a G20 meeting. What are you doing jumping off a boat at 2 a.m. in the middle of the water?
It was so. Anytime he transited, we were in full kit. Yeah. On ribs, waiting, like anytime he transited, on radios, and then when he would stop, we'd get off, right? So
covering the water.
But it was such a bad storm that we needed to take cover in port. It was like smashing the boats up against the side. So it was actually like they had to route it up. God knows what, because we're coming into a port with all automatic weapons.
So you guys, if I'm understanding this correctly, you guys are setting a perimeter from the sea.
Yeah. Well, we were going to be extracting him from his mansion. He was renting, right?
Extracting him
if he needed it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Now we're on the
Off
same
the
page.
beach.
Got
Yeah,
it.
off
Got
the
it.
beach. And so it was wherever it's going to be. So that was kind of what the mission set was. Coordinating air and stuff too. And so it was cool until it wasn't, you know, and then we slept in port, hide all weapons, slept like under a fucking bridge, dude, like soaking wet. I almost just died, man. And it was a powerful moment where I go, okay, I'm glad it happened there because it locked me on. I went, whoa, dude, that was close, right? There's no more bumpers on the railings. There's no fucking, dude, you have got to be careful. Like it's, you don't get ready, you stay ready. Yeah. That was the moment where I went, dude, I got to stay fucking ready, man, because it's always when you don't see it coming. I did not see that coming, bro. And it was, you know, it was an eye-opening experience, but I'm glad I went through it.
And the guys you were with are all these guys who were off the 11-month tour in Afghanistan.
Some of those guys. Yeah, some of those guys were.
Did any of your buddies you graduated buds with join you on Team 7?
Yeah, 5.
Okay,
five
so
or
those
6.
guys are with you too?
Not at this little op. I was one of the only new guys. There was one other new guy picked for this particular thing just because of our qualifications. And because we get disseminated out. Like most, you know, 1, 2 new guys. Yeah, so we're kind of spread out. And this was just our particular troop. A couple guys got picked.
And so you finish this job, you live, thank God.
Yeah.
And you go back and you do sniper school.
Yeah.
Where is that again?
Atterbury, Indiana is where it was. It was at
What's that like? What are you doing?
Bro, that was a fucking awesome. I was actually thinking about it today before we got on here is how cool of an experience that was. Not even just for the shooting and stuff, the stalking and all that stuff, which really I love. But man, going to partying with at the bars with the dudes and the strip clubs and like, but training hard and partying hard. It was an unbelievable experience. What
was good about sniper school? The strip clubs were amazing. Bro.
No, dude, it was cool, man. Because looking back, there's just those periods of life where you just can't recreate. I'm new guy, so I'm having to fucking fight guys sometimes, bro, because I'm driving sober on a couple nights and fucking animals in the back seat, bro, doing van fights, and I'm trying to keep this van on the road, bro. And then I had another new guy partner, and he was just kind of a little bit more not fragile, but he couldn't stay up all night, sober and then and perform. So I was like, bro, I'll take your shift, and like it was just because I needed him to be on point because he was calling wind.
Oh, and you're doing the
shoot. And like I could actually do some shit, like a little tired, but he was like get a little bit more frazzled. But bro, it was powerful.
Had you grown up shooting at all?
No.
On ranges and stuff?
No. Like I'm San Diego, man. I shot a little bit, but nothing. No, I'm not like a country boy at all.
So this was a brand new type thing,
which was actually probably good. I didn't have bad habits. I didn't have any bad habits, and so I just kind of listened to them, trigger squeeze, and there's better shots. I'm not. There's shooting's a talent, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like there's guys who are just better shots. They can hold tighter groups. I'm like a 85% guy. Like I'm a B+ guy. There's guys who are like A shooters. I'm like a B, which is checks out for pretty much how I am.
Probably pretty damn good.
I'm okay, man. But it was cool because you also have guys coming from some of those tier 1 units that were coming and watching us and watching our tests and overviewing the course and involved and would also, talk to us about the seriousness of what we were learning. Guys that they had, die because they didn't set up sniper hides correctly and didn't black out rooms correctly. And, having their glass not is reflecting and they're not paying attention to these small things. And dudes in tears, bro, telling us stories, bro. Like, that's what's going through these, reflecting back on some of those moments are powerful. You got grown men, crying, telling you a story about the importance of what the fuck you're learning, dude. It's really, there's very few things that you go through in life where you recreate those moments. So I was really grateful to have gone through that experience and, come back. It wasn't really my bread and butter in the teams because I was more in the JTAC world, but I had that qualification. So
and if you got called in, you could do it.
Yeah. So it was cool to have.
And that's something, but that's a skill you got to constantly, you got to water the flower of that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You lose it for sure. It's you use it or you lose it.
Yeah, I just had Danny Hall in here, who was like a legendary. I mean, he was a lot of things, but he was a legendary sniper among other things with the Green Berets and the Special Forces in general for a lot of years. And it's crazy when this motherfucker would start like sitting right in your seat right there, start explaining the process of this during different missions throughout the whole. We did 2 episodes. It was like 6 hours. But like when he would start to do it, and he would like turn towards this camera and do the gun movement, I could see right here that he had left the room while he's explaining this, and he's there. He's feeling the metal. He's seeing the shot, describing the wind, and I'm like. You know, my OCD mind's thinking of all the details that go into this, and I'm like, thank God I'm not the one doing this, because there is so much that can, especially the farther away you get, the number of things that can go wrong. It's insane.
It's a mix of science and art.
Oh my God.
It's a mix of science and art, and you really start to understand, you know, bullet trajectory, but also wind, man. Like how powerful wind is on an actual bullet. The trajectory, crazy. It's dude, you'll be shooting at a mover moving left to right. And the wind will be such where you actually have to shoot behind the direction of the movement. It's odd to think about, right? You're thinking shoot in front of where the target's moving. No, you got to shoot in the back of it, right? Because of how the wind is. And then watching the bullet trace.
Yeah.
You know, lead in from behind.
Crazy.
It's very odd, but once it starts, you know, sinking in, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So you finished that. How long was that again? Sniper school?
That's 2 months.
Okay,
a little
2
bit
months.
over 2 months.
So again, like kind of the 8-week thing. So you come back to Coronado after that. You're with Team 7. Like you've already done an op with them in Mexico.
Little mini one.
But like, I guess usually you can't say like how many guys were on the team or everything. But like, how was the integration with the guys who have been there, done that on Team 7, or were you know?
You know, you're still a new guy, bro. You know, you're still a new guy. You're still cleaning up, but you keep your mouth shut and you work. It's not that big a deal. I was locked on to, man. I was there. I was getting there 4 a.m. and working out. I was so fucking happy. You know, laying my clothes out before. I could not have been more just happy to be there, dude. Like I knew I was right in my purpose, and that felt good. So we were starting into the workup, but you know, you're still a new guy. There's still those moments, and there's guys with 4 combat deployments and gone through a lot. And you haven't done shit yet, you know, and that's the truth. So I understood that. Though, you know, but I was all about just taking on responsibility, learn as much as I could, staying hard, man, staying physically fit and, you know, looking and acting the part, bro, you know?
So you're not out there partying, getting in trouble or any of that shit right now?
I mean, not yet. Yeah. But no, I wasn't getting in trouble, but I was, you know, we'd go out and have fun, but I wasn't getting in trouble and stuff like that. I was still, you know, pushing the pace a little bit, but not really. During training and stuff, I was not like out fucking around, and you know, I was pretty locked on. I had one little thing. I got picked up drunk in public in like Newport on like New Year's on Christmas Eve day, and they were like, it wasn't like me being the cops was like, hey man, I'm leaving the bar. He's like, hey, but come up here. So that was scary because I'm like, oh fuck, you know, you can't get alcohol related incidents, but it wasn't a crime, and they didn't. I called my leadership, and they're like, dude, fucking whatever. Like, you know, they're like, did you do anything? I'm like, no. The cop, they're like, you didn't even run paperwork. It was, you know, you know. So I said, okay. So we do the full workup. We get ready, then we go to Yemen, right? That's where we get picked up for that low visibility operation in Yemen because they only allowed 9 of us in country.
What year is this?
This was 2013.
Okay, so they let 9 Team 7 guys in country.
Yeah. So. It was cool, man. They give you the credit card, buy all your Arc'teryx shit, and you know, and start growing your beard out. So we were growing beards out and getting ready to go, and it was me and one other new guy that got picked for it, and everybody else was older guys. And we went, man, and it was pretty much exactly a gray insert. We weren't coming through a port of entry. You know what I'm saying? So we were.
So how does that work?
We were just pretty much riding ATVs off the back of landing a C-130 and. You know, a C-17, excuse me, and on a old Russian deserted air base and fucking riding ATVs off the back for the most part.
No passports, just rolling in.
Not stamped, yeah, just rolling in, a gray insert, you know, technically. And we were but it was, you know, it's not a combat deployment, right? Because it's Yemen. It's not really that yet. It's just
what's going on at this time with the Houthis and everything?
So the whole mission set at the time was to train the counterterrorism unit for a couple ops, potential interdiction of courier ops for, you know, but it's AQAP, Al-Qaeda Arabian Peninsula is the issue there. So it's developing intelligence. There's some, you know, some GB guys. There's stuff going on there, but it's all very gray-ish.
Yeah.
So we're doing CTU, counterterrorism unit training. And also, you kind of building up this small outpost base, which ended up getting taken over by the Houthis 2 years later.
Oh shit!
So, yeah, so I mean, putting a lot of money into this place, building out, a helicopter landing zone for ospreys, and building this thing out with our hands, man. Like there ain't nobody out there doing it. We're putting up HESCO walls and stringing razor wire by hand, bro. Living in tents, doing this shit for, the team before us had been there 7 months. We were there second, we were there another 7.
Are you deniable? Like, is this a little bit of, from a Navy SEAL perspective? Is this like, you're there, but you guys aren't really there? If you get caught, you're on your own?
No, it's not that bad, but it's like, well, at least they didn't tell me that, but it's, but your closest air support's 6-7 hours away.
Oh, that's not
right. So we had, so there's things like that. Not to mention, there's just, you're showering outdoors. There's death walker scorpions and other shit like that. That if you get fucked up, you're kind of hanging your nuts out there. Looking back, you're a little bit hanging your nuts out there for a multitude of reasons. But man, I was so happy, bro, just because I would take sniper watch in the sniper tower at 3 to 6 in the morning. And I would just sit there, dude, and the morning prayer would kick off, and he'd be like, and I'd be like smoking my cigarette, drinking my coffee, like, fuck yeah, bro. I'm like, finally, dude. I'm like, damn, it's been a long path, man.
Give me a fucking reason.
I just was so happy to be there. I just felt right, So, I didn't care what I was doing as long as I was like training, working, and being away from the flagpole is nice because we're on our own, man. There was where we brought 5,000 cash each. There's no galleys or you're eating off the local population with cash. So we would send our interpreters in to buy fucking chickens, and I would eat a half chicken a day, and I'd go eat with the counterterrorism unit.
You got to kill the chicken?
No, pretty much, bro. But all everything's. You're not eating vegetables because it's covered in bugs and stuff. So you're just eating. But I would go over with the counterterrorism unit and sit on, surrounded by 100 cats and flies and eat boiled goat off the ground, bro. I was like, free lunch, bro. It's all good, dude. I was the only one that would go over there, bro, because I was like trying to keep those gains coming in, dude. I was like, I'll eat with the counterterrorism unit, bro. I was all about it.
Oh my God. So it's 9 of you, and you're training all these guys.
Yeah. So we would go up to the Capitol and do security for the ambassador.
What's the capital again there?
Sanaa.
Yeah.
So we'd go over to the Capitol and do some.
Can we pull up Sanaa on a map? Sanaa. Sanaa, Yemen.
Yeah.
Just want people to see that. But go ahead.
We were actually kind of in Aden when we were doing that little operation stuff, but the capital's Sanaa. And man, the Houthis were there. There were still a lot of issues with, we're going to chop the president's head off. And there's a lot of, you see Sanaa right there, kind of up in the middle. And we were down in Aden during this time. Okay. We were down in Aden.
Okay. Where is Aden?
See, down
at the bottom by the port.
Near the water. Yeah, yep. Which is, dude, it's a trip down there. For anybody that doesn't know about Yemen first of all, the water's like turquoise blue. You're like, wow. Yeah. And it's filled with trash.
Oh, that's
filled with plastic bags, bro, because they all chew cot. People that don't know about that area of the world, it's like that root. It's like an amphetamine. It's a slight amphetamine, and they put it in their cheek, and it's prolific, bro. Even all the men have had their cheeks expanded permanently because of how much they chew. They'll spend these guys make like $15 a month, and they'll spend $5 on, 5 to 10 on cot, dude. And that's what those plastic bags are. And they come in different colored bags for the quality, and it's everywhere. Everybody chews it every fucking day. We've all tried it. It's not that strong. It's a little bit, but they just love it so much. And so that's all the trash bags you see there. But also the ruins, man. Right? Because the English were there for years, bro. French, dude, they're the ruins up in the amount of war that's been going on there for years. And it's like, you see the old, Ottoman stuff or whatever sent out there, dude. It's crazy how much history's there. So it's powerful, bro, that whole area.
How much did you guys get, before you went there, read in on, I would imagine a lot, but read in on the intelligence of what's happening on the ground and what maybe the outside of what you're actually doing, training these guys, what the long-term objectives vis-a-vis the United States
we got strategic briefs, right? We'd have some strategic briefs from the intel departments, and then we'd But we were working with CIA guys there also.
So they're there with you.
Yeah, they'd come in the camp with us, and we'd be doing
Nice little bags of cash and everything.
Dude, ripping
too.
dudes' phones and shit, dude. Yeah, we, they're coming in and talking to those guys is, pretty interesting. Some of their stories, just, what they're doing in the capitals and some of those, drinking and this and that, and they have parties on the stills, and people come in with their little thing and then take it off, and they're fucking, in their designer clothes. It's an interesting world, and. Yeah, man. And so that was the whole process there was building it up. Not to mention we have, you have some of the tier 1 units coming in and they're doing their stuff and scoping it out because they're using it as a lily pad.
Lily pad?
Yeah, kind of like to leapfrog to,
Oh, understood.
Little lily pad because they're coming from Djibouti, right? So a lot of those, they just fly right across the little channel there in a helicopter and see what's up. And so that was that situation. And coming back from there, felt good, man. So right downtown, and now we're kind of kicking back off, going into another workup. And, I had a couple little friction points with getting arrested once, coming back. And
how long were you in Yemen?
7 months, about
okay, so
six and some change.
So you come back, and now you're getting into trouble.
Yeah, once, but then, right the ship. Little kind of like incident downtown, and then right the ship, and then locked on as fuck. Then this year going into this, I was like peaking as far as my professionally. And this is what I say, when you're peaking, bro, be careful. Because that's when you have to lock it on even more. And that's what I learned. That's what I fucking preach and bang the drum on.
You're starting to think your shit doesn't stink.
Yeah, and you just lose perspective of what got you there, right? Yeah. What got you to the peak. You start to get a little, those speed wobbles. And the momentum was picking up looking back. I was so focused on, and I was getting accolades and attaboys and early promotions. Now I was like the earliest promoted out of my group. I was already, in E6 pretty much in less than 4 years. And now I'm up for like an LPO position, whatever. I'm like, bro. And 2 weeks after my promotion, dude, I get arrested for that shit in the bar.
What happened there?
So I hit a guy in a bar. One time, man. That's all it takes, right? One time, one decision like that.
Why'd you hit him?
He said something smart, on the way out, dude. And it had been building all night. Come to find out, I didn't know why the situation was. I was in town by myself in Idaho on a JTAC trip, and I was there on a date with a chick who he didn't like the fact I was there with her. Oh. Yeah, and so that was the backstory. Yeah. And so I didn't really understand that kind of. But like I said, I'm no victim. I read the situation was tense. I didn't give a fuck. Didn't leave, right? There was multiple times where I could have not put myself in a bad situation, right? And then walking out, he like kind of, gave a little, kind of one of those things. And dude, I just hit him once. And he went down like a sack of potatoes. But I broke his orbital eye socket, so it was a grave bodily injury. He went down. I had to pay for his surgery. He almost lost his eye, man. Like, it was like a whole thing. He's fine. He's fucking fine. He's fine. And but dude, I went to jail. Now I got aggravated assault. Now I have them sending people.
So they arrest you there.
Yeah. So it was toast for me. The card on file. I knew I was toast. And
do you get kicked? Like, this is what blows my mind. Apparently, you didn't get kicked out of the Navy SEALs for this.
I was fighting the case. So technically, I'm not convicted of anything yet, right? So that was I was like, dude, I can't take a felony, which was actually the leverage because. Bro, I was willing to risk 15 years in prison, which is what the fucking maximum was for not a felony. That's how serious I took my SEAL career. Because if I took a felony, I was done.
You're done.
I was toast. So I was like, well, they're going to pay me in the corner. I have to take it to the fucking box. I got to take it to trial.
What was SEAL leadership saying about all this?
They were like, because they saw it on video, dude. I had, it was on video. They put me, I had to go to boards and everyone's like, oh, man.
Nice shot.
They're like, damn, well, at least your SEAL skills aren't in question, bro. Because it was a brutal punch. It was like one of those times where you you hit a baseball and it feels like nothing. That's when I was like, oh no. I didn't have a scratch. My hand was fine. It was one of those.
And clean shot.
It was like, too clean. So I got demoted, right? I took a demotion. Now I'm like pulled out of the platoon for a little bit. But then they're starting to see, I went to the little anger management classes and stuff. And they see, dude.
You went to anger management classes?
Yeah. I was like, hey, can I go to anger? I was trying to show, man, for the courts.
That's not Navy SEAL anger management. That's regular.
Well, no, I went and spoke to the psychologist for Naval Special Warfare.
Oh, no shit.
I was doing all that shit. And, getting down to the roots, man.
Yeah.
Why I'm so angry, apparently.
God, so many feelings bottled
yeah,
up.
so many feelings, man. But they saw that, okay, it was kind of dragging along. And they said, the plea deal was 6 + 3, 6 years in prison plus 3 was my plea deal. So
that's what they offered.
Yeah, and they offered, and I said, well, I can't do that. Plus, I'm getting sued by the guy for like a fucking $500,000 at the time. So I got stressed for days, bro. I'm like, man, I'm stressing. But they allowed me to keep training. But meanwhile, I'm still flying back to Idaho for these court dates. And they keep kicking the can down the road. And this is like the divine intervention of stuff. The judge retires. So they have to kick the can down the road a little more. Then another judge picks it up. Now the lawyer who really wanted my ass, he quit. He quits and goes somewhere else. There's like all these things happening in my favor, which I didn't understand at the time. I have a really expensive attorney in Idaho who's like a badass. John Cox, I love you, bro. And he was like, plugged in through some contacts, even in SEALs, who are connected. But I paid a lot of money. I was hemorrhaging a lot of money, but it was worth it. So I get to the point where I'm about to go to Iraq.
Oh shit! So they're getting you on a workup during all this.
Oh, dude, I'm during a workup, man. And so it was the last day of our workup where that happened. One of the last times. So I'm going to Iraq, bro, and it's like coming down 2-3 weeks. We're leaving, and I go to court and I go, "Here's the deal." Team 7 had written a letter. They're like, "Hey, we need this guy's quals in Iraq." So the courts go, "We'll let him go to Iraq. He can deal with it."
God bless America.
Yeah, they go, and so. Hey man, I love Idaho, man. That was some good old boy shit because
oh my god,
they let me go on bail. I'm still technically on bail, bro. And so I went to Iraq on bail
to another country
on a felony charge, bro, into Iraq. And that was, dude. I have during that whole deployment, bro. And we'll get into the deployment a little bit.
Yeah, let's do that.
Dude, I was stressing, bro. Dude, because all these dudes are looking forward to getting back, dude. I volunteered to stay 3 more months. I did, dude. I volunteered to stay.
No, you don't understand. I can't go home.
Because I was all the first month back. I had to go to court, a trial, jury trial, facing 6 years in prison, and I was like fucking stressed. I thought about joining the Kurdish Peshmerga and just staying out there, bro. I thought of everything, bro. I was sitting out there on the roof, bro. So they flew us in. The whole thing was we were supposed to meet with the Sunni tribal fighters who had been displaced from ISIS.
Now, wait a minute. This is like 2015?
This is prepping for the Mosul offensive. So this
is when ISIS is like...
Yeah, so we were inserted with like very minimal information. We were in a Green Beret, like in technically Kurdistan, living in tents, about ready to leapfrog up towards the forward line of troops, and start linking with the Sunni tribal fighter sheikhs, 3 different tribes who had been displaced, all their towns by ISIS, and to go use them, link with them, figure it out, and then go start taking back over these fucking villages. Who their women and shit were still there, right?
Oh my God.
It was like crazy, bro. So. But we're technically not an assist, right? So it's this weird gray area legally because it's Obama. And so they're like, well, you can't really like be there technically. It was a very weird, I don't even know how legally it was all supposed to go down. But we're there. And so that's the Pentagon side. Who the fuck knows, right? Because all I know for sure is we're getting shot at, taking rockets. I don't know what they fucking called not assisting. But so is... We found this old ISIS like storage facility that had ordnance in it. They're just like old mortars and shit. So we just cleaned it all out with, EOD and stuff, and then turned it into our fucking base, man. It was, maybe 2 kilometers, away from the forward line of troops, the first trenches and stuff. And we started building out this base, cleaned it out, really turned it into something kind of cool. Put in a landing area for some drones and built the walls out and the HESCOs. Mind you, we're doing all this like fucking slave work, bro. We got no heavy equipment. We had no vehicles at the time. They gave us up-armored G-Wagons that were from Afghanistan, dude. We're all fucked up. So we were rolling around in Mercedes. It was just not the deal. So finally we start getting, the Nissans in and the Tacomas and start up-armored stuff. And we started building out the vehicles and building out all the armor and the walls, and that's really what we did, man. We worked our ass off. Still, every once in a while, we take Katushka rocket, it's right, didn't hit our bait, not far, but they knew we were there. They knew shit was going on. It was kind of sketchy, in that the security was minimal at the time. It was just us. It was a handful of dudes. It was 8 dudes at first. So
Just eight.
It was eight, but SEALs, and then we had probably 3 or 4 support staff guys. Support CBs and mechanic, and
You're just dropped in the middle of
and so we're just building it up slowly. We're gonna end up probably handing it off to a Marine unit or something after, and then they would leapfrog forward for some more stuff. Soon we got the rest of the platoon out, and then we were plussed up. It was after maybe 3 or 4 months. Then we had the full 16. So then we probably had 20 guys. Then they would start. And then as we built the rooms out, they had some drone guys come in, and we built out the talk. And then it started to turn into like a full on operation by the time we left.
It's amazing that you're doing all this. 'Cause, I mean, this was a crazy time. There's all kinds of intricate things going on. You guys are very autonomous on the ground, have to make this happen for the people coming after you, set it up. And you're like thinking about a fucking 9-year prison stint.
Bro, it was hard to stay. It was hard to stay present, and that was a dark time for me, man. I was, there's moments I wasn't at my best, and it was, but I was a tribal lead, so because I'm an advent laden specialist, so
English.
So I like kind of that low visibility, vet and spies, kind of that stuff. I went through the whole pipeline for that specialty training of. How you teach guys how to draw maps and where to hide them and that shit. So that was one of my specialties is because I can talk to people, right? Because I'm good at that whole world. And so I was a tribal lead. So I would meet with him, all the time. And then I started getting him to show me maps. Where is he from? How are we where are your guys? Okay, where are your best guys? And then I would train them. I would go train these guys multiple times a week. And they had like 300 guys. I honed it down to about 50 that were like good, that were safe. Yeah. And then we started kind of getting these ops together. Meanwhile, we're also building target packages for close air support. We're dropping a fuck ton of ordnance, man. I mean, with the ordnance and stuff, not small arms, we killed predicted about like 2,000, 3,000 guys with all the stuff, with all the SEAL troops, not just in our area, but with SEAL Team 7 who was there at that time. Right. That's the number I heard. Who knows if that's exactly accurate? I don't know. But we were dropping a lot of shit, building target packages and doing all that from the talk, from also out on where it's like trench warfare. There's like trenched in, man. It was like, and then dead space in between. And so going across that was all mined. So,
oh my God.
So one night we come across, we're walking across, we're telling these guys like, look, man, this is the path to go, man. And they thought we were kind of fucking lying, dude. Next thing we know, dude's fucking torsos flying by and just step on it was a hectic
what guys
night.
Are these?
Our tribal fighter guys.
Oh my
God. That was a whole fucking thing. And, the trust factor. They're like, what the fuck, these guys? And, things get lost in translation. And so it was hectic, man. It was hectic. But they want air support. They know we're there for that. They want guns. They want air support. That's all they really fucking care about.
Where was this base again?
This was at kind of outside of Makmur, if people are familiar.
Can we try to pull that up? Makmur,
so
is
it's
that
like,
M-A-Q?
M-A-K-M-U-R. I think is how you
M-A-K-M-U-R, Iraq. Let's try that. I just want to see where
so that'll be like the western tip of Kurdistan, and because Kurdistan's not technically a country, so it's
that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, you see, it's kind of right in the middle there.
Yeah, let's zoom out on that. That's perfect. Just so people can see where this is. Just zoom out. Beautiful. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, so Mosul's up there.
Yeah.
Just northwest.
Yep.
And then, this is why I wanted to see it, because I wanted to ask you about that, because you mentioned the Peshmerga and everything.
Yeah.
A lot of people that I'll talk to don't understand that there's like millions of Kurds who don't have a country, but they operate in their like autonomous regions around southern Syria, northern Iraq, and they have this badass army called the Peshmerga and everything who works with the United States all the time.
They love us.
And they still don't have a country and everything.
Dude, the Kurds were fucking awesome to us. They take pride in keeping Americans safe. They're very westernized. Erbil, man, we'd go to the mall and then be at the forward line of troops, mixing it up a little bit in the same day. It's a trip, man. And the Kurds, we had Kurdish interpreters, and they had AKs, bro, that who knows how many guys some of those guns have taken out. These would be like their grandpas. You know what I'm saying, bro? I'm being serious. Like, and they would keep the guns as the soul of it.
Yeah.
Tough Two, organized, very solid, very cool, very hospitable with us, eating with them and whatever. So Kurdistan it's not an autonomous country, but it's definitely protects its own borders.
Yeah, it's great.
And that's also the strategic difficulty with Kurdish, because they only have vested interest in their Kurdish border. We don't. So we would be like, hey, we're going to keep pushing out. They're like, nah, we're good. And I get it. They're like, why? We don't need to fucking keep going.
Yeah.
So there was that piece too, is kind of getting them. So that's why we had the Sunni tribal fighters. But that's also why we're working with the Kurdish Peshmerga. Sometimes I need to go shoot with these guys, and I got to do it in Kurdistan. They don't want the Sunni tribal fighters there. So I would have to be, driving a truck with like 60 tribal fighters, not in one truck, but like, I'd have 30 guys in one truck behind me in a stake truck that I'm borrowing from the Peshmerga, going through checkpoints, bro. Like,
oh my God.
They're like, what's the, I'm just like,
don't worry about it.
It's all good. It's not like I was hiding, but I was definitely, we're not rolling through, telling them exactly what we're doing. So it was interesting times looking back, difficult times, frustrating times. You have, you feel like you're kind of dogs on the chain. You have all these ROIs. You're not getting approvals for drops,
ROIs?
Rules of engagement.
Oh, right.
So, it's, you're out there doing a job and you don't feel like you got all the support. You don't feel like, you're being totally let. But still.
Why was that?
Man, because you knew we could have killed a lot more people. Right.
But you felt like because it wasn't
Approvals.
declared a war.
Yeah. They're like, they don't want, guys in fucking Solomons and no uniforms getting fucking killed. They're like, what the fuck are these guys doing out there? We came back one time, me and a guy, an officer. I was going to sit with the general on one of these operations because I'm a JTAC. So I was going to go to Erbil, where there's the military, big presence of the United States military there next to the international airport. We drove by ourselves, as me and another dude, an officer, and we're, big ass mustaches, civilian clothes, whatever, just driving with our M4s through checkpoints, is, a couple hours from the little fob we were at back to this, tactical operations center. And I come to the gate, this fucking dude at the gate, he goes, who are you guys? Where are you guys coming from? We're like, we're SEALs out in the fucking thing. He goes, we got guys out there? I was like,
shit.
I was like, bro, it's like some, E2 and at the fucking gate. I'm like, bro, these guys aren't getting briefed up, dude. Like, we got fucking guys hopping out here. It was, but cool, but good, because, I like to be away from the flagpole a little bit, but man,
away from the flagpole.
Yeah, just kind of away from the main base. I had never been on a deployment really with the main base. The Legion, it kind of changed a little bit, but that was it, man. And I was looking for everyone's getting ready to come back, bro. And I'm fucking going back to a felony trial, bro.
You're having like hookah with a Peshmerga general around the fire going, so can I stay?
I thought about it, man. I'd be sitting there going, it's bad, bro.
But this is all ahead. So the Mosul offensive against ISIS, that did happen in 2015, right?
That did.
Was that 2015?
2016.
It was 2016.
Yeah.
So this is all right before that.
Right
you
before.
Go back.
We were right at the end of 2015. It was like in 10 months later or next year.
And SEALs took part in that.
Oh,
though.
yeah. Yeah, we had.
Was that Team 7?
Yeah, we had guys. We had, people go down and shit that next year in that area.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. You ever seen the drone shots in the year after that of Mosul?
Pretty wild, bro.
Oh my god,
dude, that Mosul just around that whole city, dude. There was entrenched, cemented in, belt-fed machine gun positions.
Yeah, actually, Murph, can we pull up? There's a video on YouTube. Type in Vice Mosul drone. I've shown this on a few podcasts. I use it in the intro on Ryan Tate number 117 as well. Mosul drone rubble Vice. Yeah, as long as we get those keywords, I'll be able to tell you. Yeah, first one right there. Right here. Yeah, hit that, and let's get that. Let's get that on the screen. You can turn the volume down on that. That's fine. But there, like when you see this, I think this is the right one. Yeah, yeah. You can turn it down all the way down. Cool. And then let's just let this play. But you can,
dude. Some of the crazy things that predators can do, bro, are like, dude, we'd be targeting a guy and we'd have him on feed and they'd be running and they'd fucking, you kind of hear, they even the way high up, they'd be like, or they maybe get the hair standing up on the back of them, and they'd run underneath balconies, bro, and these hellfires, bro, just underneath into their fucking into their house, bro, underneath the balcony where it's crazy, man.
Just such a nuts time too. Like I remember that summer 2014 with the Daniel Pearl stuff and what was it, Jihadi John, the guy who was cutting off everyone's heads.
Yeah.
And you just see like you literally, it was so crazy that you had like Al Qaeda over there. Like the guys took down the towers like, yo, listen, those motherfuckers be crazy. We're not that. All right. We're gonna chill over here. They're like, those guys? Nah. That's like, that is so fucking wild to me because you read these accounts and stuff. Like, I read this book, I think it was called The Last Girl by Nadia Murad. She's a Yazidi.
Okay.
So, I mean, you were over there, you know the deal. There's 1.5 million of Yazidis. The women were sold into sex slavery if they weren't killed. The men were rounded up and genocided by ISIS and whatever. And when I read her story, it's heartbreaking. She ended up winning a Nobel Peace Prize for bringing this all forward and whatever and surviving. But like it was one of the first times I read something where I really thought to myself, these guys actually aren't human.
Yeah.
Like they literally like even when you read like of the awful Nazi stuff, like you have those thoughts. This almost felt worse because these guys were also like so fucking stupid. That was the other thing. Like they were just so dumb. They were not on a level with anyone I've ever talked with, and they had these beliefs that then
blinds me even more.
Yeah, it just blew my mind. And you're out there and seeing this up close.
Yeah.
Every day. Like, was there a thought like, all right, I was ready for war, but this is insane.
Well, I think that you really just you can't even identify with them, right? So it just makes what you're doing so simple. Where you're at, you're like, dude, these are just people I don't identify with. I didn't really see them like that, So I just get you disconnect. Like, man, fuck these people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Fuck them. So it's just like absolutely no issues with what we were trying to do there and what, the whole overall strategy was there. And
with the Peshmerga, I'd imagine they had a pretty similar attitude.
Man, they'll chop those motherfuckers' heads off and put them on their back of their body. Right? They do, right? And they got no problem with it. Those guys are tough, man. Tough dudes, and they got no issues with what they're doing there.
Yeah, and they, we talked about it a little bit, but it's literally like they just don't have lines on a map.
Yeah.
But they have their part of the map. It's so bizarre to me because I think about it like, imagine if Florida and like Louisiana was just like, yeah, we're not going to pay taxes to DC anymore. We're just right down here.
Yeah.
But they're still Florida and Louisiana.
Yeah.
Like it would make no sense.
Yeah.
But that's what they're doing with Iraq and Syria. They're just like, no, we're good. That we have our own military, which is effectively that's like their government, right?
Yeah.
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 Crazy.
There's also support from the United States, obviously. Right?
Yeah.
We have a military base in their capital, right? A massive international airport, right? And with huge military presence. Massive, right? And so we're obviously supporting it in some way, but we're not gonna really institute the lines because that's gonna just create more friction in that area than it already needs to be.
That's so.
They don't really give a fuck about the lines though. They just want their autonomy, and if they're kind of left in there and whatever, those guys were fighting Saddam for fucking years. They call some of those guys, there was one guy, Lion of Erbil, man. These guys are
Lion of Erbil.
Yeah, he's just like a commander out there, bro. A Kurdish commander who's just been fucking getting after it since Saddam. And now just new people, right? He's just, and we'd be in his house, just tough, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No.
Very, very, that's a cool cultural experience you got. Like,
yeah, I'm really grateful for it.
Them.
Yeah, going in there and just eating with them and kind of sitting there feeling the vibe. I have a real love for the Kurds, man. They were great to us.
But now you go home and you're facing 6+3.
Yeah, man.
How soon is the trial? Like you land back in the U.S.
I volunteered to stay in Iraq.
Oh, what happened there?
So that actually helped because it kicked the can down the road.
So you stayed longer.
So I was going to stay longer. Then they canceled it. But because the court date already got kicked, I had a little buffer. So I had like a 3-4 month buffer. So, but then, you know, I'm still training. I'm rocking and rolling and still going. Now the trial comes. So I'm like, all right, I guess I go up there. So I'm up there. I go in my dress blues. I feel like I'm walking the plank. I go out to the strip club the night before. I'm fucking, you know, I'm like walking the plank. I'm drunk still, dude. In my dress blues. I'm like getting ready for trial. I dead serious. I was like, fuck this, dude. I'm just, let's do this thing.
What's your lawyer saying to you?
Bro, he calls me. Well, he calls me and he goes, hey, there he is. He goes, where are you? And I'm like,
taking a shit.
Yeah, I was. And I was in my dress blues. And I'm sitting there and he's like, you coming down here? I'm like, yeah, I had like fucking be down there in like 15 minutes. And he's like, well, we got good news. And I said, what is it? And he said, we got misdemeanors. I said, all right, I'll sign it. Because I was like, any misdemeanor I'll take. He goes, but they're maxed out. So they gave me 2 misdemeanors, maxed out formal probation, which is 4 years of like all these stipulations. And you got to pay this guy all the restitution in a check like fucking now.
How much is that?
It was like my whole Iraq check pretty much.
Oh my God.
Of just restitution. He was still suing me, by the way, civilly.
Oh, so that's, oh my God.
That's still going on.
Separate.
This is criminal. So yeah, so I was like, he goes, or it's going to be a felony. I said, fine. So I sold my truck, all my Iraq check, and just wrote this guy a check. They gave me 4 years. I had to still serve some time, mind you.
How much time?
Just a few weeks. So I did
nothing.
So I did a few weeks in Idaho with all the felons again. As an active duty SEAL, I took vacation to go fucking to jail.
What is the command saying about? Like,
I just kind of dipped out, bro. I
was
was handling it so smooth, and with and attorneys, and I had my letters organized. I'm like, hey, I just got to go away a couple weeks, and they're like, oh, but it was between a cell. It was between a cell. It was like things were falling so perfectly because it wasn't like I was missing work. We had like a 2-week break, and it just fell right in that area, and I'm like, okay. And then I took a little bit of extension, so it was really like seamless. And I fucking get out. I had my top secret security clearance pulled. I have some good letters saying, hey, here's what's the situation. I get it back. So I get a top secret security clearance back. Get out of jail. Top secret security clearance back.
3 weeks in jail.
I'm on 3 weeks in jail. Locked down again. And
3 weeks is a lot better than 4 months.
Yeah. So 3 weeks is okay. And well, there you know. Now I'm back in the training cycle. Now I'm fucking like, I can't believe this.
You're right back. Like,
Dude,
holy shit, I'm alive.
I can't believe this, bro.
I'm sorry. When you go to jail, now it's not like you're a 22-year-old little bit of a fuck up. Now you're like a badass Navy SEAL with multiple deployments.
30-year-old SEAL.
Like, what are the cops saying? Like, hello,
like,
sir,
damn,
welcome.
Bro. No, they're like, hey, what's up, man? And I get along with people, and I get right on program. Dude, I start working out. I start doing my thing, and I just, I can assimilate real easily into an institution super well. But it was good. They're like, hey, well, cool. And they didn't even, here's the thing, they didn't even put me in handcuffs. They said, we're not going to put them in handcuffs. Because I came in my dress blues. They were super cool with me. They didn't put me in handcuffs. And it was a little bit different the second time around. No,
oh, my God.
So I went in. So they were super respectful with me. And that was not a bad process at all. Got out. And now I'm back in it. And it was fucking amazing. And I'm locked on as fuck. I'm not allowed to drink. Not allowed to do drugs. Obviously, I'm in the military anyway, but I had a formal probation officer. They could test me at any time for anything. Mm-hmm. I technically couldn't leave San Diego without permission, which was weird. I couldn't own a weapon, which is weird. So, but
you can use a weapon.
Yeah. So there was a lot of weird gray stuff, but it was so gray and weird, and everybody knew it was, that it was like I'm on an interstate compact transfer because technically I wasn't supposed to leave Idaho, so that had to get approved.
Oh shit.
So there was like a lot of moving parts, but they were like, so. I was actually kind of just left to my own devices, and I was locked on as fuck for like a month. That's like a month. And that's the thing. And it wasn't like, yeah, this was 2016. And it wasn't like I was just like fucking off. Like I was like, bro, I got to like keep it locked on. It's like I hadn't built my self-worth yet in my disciplines. Like I hadn't understood the bigger picture. I wasn't operating out. I was still selfish, man. I wasn't thinking about the team. I wasn't thinking about what some of these fuck ups were causing work wise for other people. I just was too immature in that capacity. I needed more to learn more apparently. And I did. And so 3 months later, the momentum started picking up again. I started going out with chicks again. I was like isolated for like a month, and then it kind of started getting loose. And then I'm at a concert, and I get in a golf cart, I'm drunk, get in a golf cart that's like the county fair, and I'm like driving around the parking lot. I'm like, fucking dude, the cops stop my fucking golf cart. Here's how fucking stupid this shit is. I'm in no shirt, I'm all tatted up, blasted, like all jacked. And I go, oh shit, dude, they're gonna run my name. I'm on fucking formal probation. I'm drunk, right? I need to get, and so they're like, hey man, what the fuck? I'm like, hey, yeah, just gonna, and I fucking bolt.
Oh, you bolted?
Yeah, I bolted. And they fucking tried to tackle me. But I was like jacked at the time, dude. I fucking got up, shed him off. They sicked the dog on me.
They put the dog.
They sicked the dog on me. So I got a dog attached to my ass. I still got a scar on my ass attached to my ass. I'm fighting this dog off. I get the fucking dog off me. I fight him off, and I fucking.
Oh, Mike would not be happy about that.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, and so he was poor training. The dog's not bred well. Mike, love you, man. And hopped it. Now they hit me with a bunch of tasers. They hit me with the.
I was waiting for it.
So they started hitting me with the tasers. Takes about 3 to get me down. I yanked the first 2. They get me with the third one.
You yanked off
yeah, dude. And I'm like, this is going down with like 100 people watching at a fucking Jimmy Buffett concert. You can't make this shit up, dude. With that shit playing in the background, like the juxtaposition. And so they come down, boom. I'm getting all the love. I'm getting blasted in the face, and I'm covered in dirt and blood. And I go, okay. And they put me in the back of the car, and I knew I was fucked. I was like, fuck. Damn, that came fast. I did not see that coming. And like I said, it always comes when you don't see.
Not even in the golf cart.
And I was like, dude, it was just such a chill day. And then it was not. And I'm like, fuck. And that's what I say, man. You think you can control all these things, but if you're not living right and doing right, or you're stacking karmic debt, you're gonna fucking get smashed. And
but now you think you're coming out of the SEALs.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm fucked. I knew it was like. I was in the back. I didn't even try. I said, call SEAL Team 7. Let's rock and roll. Let's just tell them what's up because I'm fucked. Right. I was normally would try to kind of keep it like and deal. No. I went right full tilt. I had the cops call the fucking SEAL command. And that's what I did. And it caused the avalanche of shit because now I'm fighting a fucking felony probation violation on a violent crime. On technically a police officer.
Wait, why is it a felony if it was a misdemeanor?
So it was a violent crime still because it was a battery, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm on an aggravated assault charge. They charged me aggravated assault, which it wasn't. But it wasn't like I hit anybody. It just in me getting up, they called it kind of a thing. It ended up all getting dropped though. But here's the thing: that divine intervention, man.
Again.
So because I didn't really do anything other than just try to get away, right? But I hadn't really committed a crime. I didn't do anything, and I didn't hit anybody or nothing. So it was, and I worked some contacts and some people, and I go to the court, and they threw it out, gave me a misdemeanor, like fucking disturbing the peace or something, you know?
You just like won't die, bro.
And I got a good attorney again. I hemorrhage money on attorneys, bro. That's one thing I don't short stroke, bro.
You got Saul Goodman out there?
I go, dude. And so now I'm hemorrhaging cash. That still violates the probation in Idaho. So I have federal marshals in a van trying to extradite me from California, an active duty SEAL, illegally, because they said I had a warrant, which I took care of. So I have 2 lawyers talking. My girlfriend at the time was an attorney. So they're talking to all these people, bro. I got attorneys calling it was an absolute connecting with the governor of California and all this because they're trying to do legal shit. It's like a trail of emails and people have been done fucked up things. And so they were trying to protect their ass. And
oh my God.
So I go to talk to, we get it all figured out. Right. I get it all figured out. Then I pitch to my attorney. I go, dude, can I just get off probation in there and serve more time? I already know I'm fucked. And he goes, they pitched it. They accepted it. So I go back up to Idaho, serve more time, same place. A year later to the day, I'm back in that same pod, in that same jail. But now I'm on the way out. Right. Now I know I'm on the way.
How much time?
I do another 3 weeks. So,
3 weeks to get rid of 4 years probation.
Boom.
I'll take that deal.
I took it in a minute. Because the judge was like, my attorney goes, can't we just have him serve some time and get this guy off our books, judge? And the judge is like, yeah, fuck it. So it actually, surprisingly enough, I walked out of jail. Now I signed my DD-214. I'm out. I took a general discharge, right? Because I didn't actually get kicked out for that. Because technically I still didn't commit a bad enough crime to get kicked out. What kicked me out was I failed a steroid test.
In the middle of all this.
So they Navy JAG saw this and they saw I'm getting out of this again. They're like, this fucking guy. They're like, fuck this guy. NCIS and Navy JAG, they teamed up and they're like, dude, we're fucking gonna grill this dude. So they threw the book at me, hit me with every drug test in the book, passed.
Except
then
steroids.
No, then they go, we're gonna fucking steroid test them, which is kind of unheard of at the time. No one had even getting steroid tested at that time. They sent, but you can't just test for steroids. They sent it and paid thousands of dollars to send it to the UCLA Olympic Testing Center. So they fucking spent all this money, and I failed. Lit that motherfucker up.
How long have you been taking steroids?
Probably like, man, a couple years. I really wasn't. So it wasn't like going through all the selections. Never took anything. Never. Because you can't be big, man. I was like, but after, so maybe like a year. Like a year.
You know what's crazy though? Like it is a drug, and like you're supposed to get this whole system and everything.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this isn't fucking baseball, right? Like,
yeah, you're not.
You guys are warriors where you have to go out and kill people. Like, if my Navy SEALs are taking steroids, I'm not upset about that.
You know, it was what I knew it was. I knew it was, and this is what they asked me in the board. And I'm always pretty good in boards because I'm like, I'll take it on. I'll fucking own it. Like I don't try to get away. I go, yep. They go. What would you say? I said, well, if you're willing to fucking risk out everything, then fucking do it, right?
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.